All eyes are on the key races across the nation as the results will determine who controls Congress. On this election day, we're following everything for you. Every U.S. House seat is on the line this year. About 1/3 of the Senate is also up for grabs. Democrats, of course, currently control both chambers of Congress, but that could likely change according to recent polling. Now, local officials are responsible for counting the ballots and states verify results, but we want to talk a little bit more about this with the experts. We have senior data analyst Kiel Williams with Decision Desk HQ. I said it right this time. And Niall Stanage, of course, our friend from the Hill, is with us as well. Kiel, I've got to start with you. How long will it take to actually count and certify ballots this time around?
That's going to vary a lot by state. So there are some states tonight where we're likely to know the results pretty quickly. So states like New Hampshire, states like Virginia, states like Florida, those are states where we're likely to know relatively early what some of the results are in some of the key House and Senate contests. Okay. Now, there are other states that are really competitive that we're probably going to have to wait a bit longer. Pennsylvania, for example, is a state that could drag on for days potentially, depending on how long things go and how narrow the result is. Arizona is another example of a state that could take days to count potentially. So the answer is it's going to vary a lot depending on where we're looking at in the country.
Yeah, and obviously we're looking at a lot of key races. You mentioned some of them, Kiel. Pennsylvania, that tight race between John Fetterman and Dr. Oz. And after their debate right here on NewsNation, Dr. Oz actually ended up taking the lead from Fetterman, but it's been very tight. Is Dr. Oz continuing to climb in the polls?
Well, we think so, but it's a very, very narrow lead. It's a lead that is within the margin of error. There's no question that the momentum in that race did change, partly because of the debate, partly because attacks on John Fetterman for crime, on his record in crime, seem to have an effect, but it's a very, very tight race.
Let's go to Arizona now, another very, very intense race. A Democratic candidate, Katie Hobbs, and Republican opponent, Kari Lake. Lake did have momentum moving into today, but then there's some last-minute polling that actually suggested otherwise. So with such a close race and the concerns about maybe potentially one of them throwing out the results or contesting the results, what is the likelihood of when that will be called? Because I think a lot of people are going to be watching Arizona this time around because of the election denying of 2020.
So on one hand, you would think that election officials there are going to want to make sure that whatever result they call is sort of unimpeachable. They're not going to want any protests at the end of it. Having said that, Kari Lake, as you mentioned, has suggested that, well, she has been equivocal about whether she will accept the results if she is defeated. And I think that leads people to believe that that could be a prolonged process. Even though people like Decision Desk HQ might be calling the race, that doesn't necessarily end the thing officially.
Yeah, Kiel, there is a lot of skepticism for people about voting. No doubt because of the 2020 election, but also there's skepticism around safety. There's skepticism around polling because we've seen the national polls were just so terribly wrong so many times just in recent years. Can early voting and polling numbers be trusted, or are they misleading?
So I think you have to look at data points like that holistically in conjunction with other things. So you can look, for example, at things like polling that tell you something about how the momentum in a race is going. That we just mentioned that, for example, polling following the debate and recent attacks against Fetterman, there seems to be polling momentum in the direction of Dr. Oz in Pennsylvania, for example. But you have to look at that in conjunction with things like the fundamentals of a state like Pennsylvania. So in 2020, which was a year when Democrats were facing a better national environment, even then Joe Biden's barely won that state. And so then when we go to a year like 2022, when the national environment is more favorable to Republicans, you would expect a Democrat like John Fetterman to face a real uphill climb. So you have to sort of look at all of these things taken together in the aggregate.
All right, Kiel, Niall, thanks for joining us. We appreciate your time. We're going to be right back. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.